right, we are now back with episode 29 of Shoot the J. We're back to my left, Don Jackson, below Tyrone Jackson, our special guest as always. And we always start off the same way as, what are you drinking? Don, I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I made a little homemade lemonade with mango rum. It's rolling.
Oh, all right, Tyrone.
I went back to the childhood days and grabbed some little apple juice there, bro.
Oh, yeah. You got the mods. You got the mods.
I got the mods. That's exactly right, mods.
You got the mods.
Actually, I came full circle. This was the apple juice I didn't use pre-colonoscopy. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Oh, this is the medical edition of the show. Okay.
It really is.
Wow. I'm having a
Get your colons checked, everybody. Get your colons checked.
Yes.
Please do it.
I am having a little champagne left over, Tyrone, from the brunch that you and I had when we watched the Triple G fight.
Yes.
Early in the morning, we had little ribeyes and grits and eggs and hash browns and mimosas to watch the fight.
Yeah. Smoked chicken sausage too.
Smoked apple chicken sausage as well. You know.
Well, y'all went through the whole menu. I wasn't there. That's not fair.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. You was in the terrorist subway in New York while this was going on.
Man, I'm thankful I went to Brooklyn the day before.
Woo! That's crazy.
Because going the same day, Jack, wasn't going to happen.
Well, your mom called me, was blowing me up. She just knew you was right there in the middle of the terrorist attack. Of the 22 million people in New York, you had to be involved. You know what I mean?
At 8:37 in the morning, we knew that wasn't going to happen.
That rules him out, Jack.
Hey, bro, all I can say, the way that dog cloud was following me on that trip, anything is possible. That's all I can do.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Put the Kevin Garnett in that bed, bro.
You had problems down on the trip, huh?
You can't go into it. Don't do my boy like that, bro.
I can't even start to talk about it right now. We're focusing on some sports that's coming up here.
That's fine. Well, let's transition right now back into the show.
Yes.
NBA playoff picture. Mm-hmm. Lakers are out. Brooklyn is a very, very lower seed. All the people who we thought were going to be favorites at the very beginning of the season are basically toast at this moment. Who do y'all think is the front runner to win the title? And what are some interesting matchups that y'all think is going to happen during the playoffs?
Ty, I'll let you get in there.
Yeah, I think the incumbents are always favored in this. Phoenix has had tremendous growth, even in the absence of Chris Paul being injured. It seems like they stepped a lot, became more livelier around the ball. DeAndre Ayton seems like he's manning up a little bit more, and he's going to need to do that if they are going to face somebody like Milwaukee again, where there's so much size and length. Of course, Golden State, they got to get healthy, but I think it's going to be Phoenix, and you can't stop Milwaukee right now. Milwaukee's playing good ball. So I say it's Phoenix and Milwaukee repeating again. Okay. But there's some intriguing matchups. Really are. Atlanta is getting hot at the right time. And I think they could beat the Miami Heat if they win this game tonight. They would be matched up against Miami. And they could beat Miami. But you got to watch these little French teams like Boston Celtics. They always do some stuff, You got to watch out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They streaky in the West. Denver is in there. We haven't talked about Denver too much, but they're always a threat, So it's up for grabs more than it's ever been to me.
Okay. Don?
Well, one of the I guess the pluses of going to New York, I did go to a Brooklyn Nets game live against the Pacers. And I'm going to tell you, that little Kyrie Irving was killing. It seems like he's been drinking the right amount of turbo juice, whatever carrot juice, whatever he's on. His handles was on full display. His passing was crisp, and his shooting was next level. It looked like he was at Rucker Park, the way he was treating the Pacers. And Kevin Durant, believe it or not, had a triple-double. He had 15 assists in that game. He was dishing the ball. Before the double team even got there, he was finding an open man, really playing with a lot of poise. So I think they are someone to be feared in the East. even though, like Tyrone said, Milwaukee is the front runner. The Milwaukee has given teams fits. I could clearly, if the Nets make it past Boston, I see them playing Milwaukee. That's your Eastern Conference championship right there when those two match up in that next round. So I don't see Milwaukee having any problem in that first round. I think they have Chicago. Mm-hmm. They're just too big for Chicago and have too much size. In the West, like Ty said, Phoenix Suns, definitely the perennial favorite. I would say don't sleep on the Pelicans, though, because you're looking at the energy and youth they bring into the table. And Willie Green really has them playing complementary basketball right now, both sides of the floor. So don't sleep on them. They could shock a couple people. I wouldn't be surprised that Pelicans win tonight against the Clippers without Paul George and then give Phoenix a run for their money. And then, who's next in the West? Like Ty said, Denver. I don't see Golden State really giving Denver the run for the money that they think they will. I really don't. I think Denver is going to be one of your favorites coming out the West too.
That's interesting. I'll start with the Pelicans. Something that Tyrone said last week is like they just dumb enough to win the whole thing. You know what I mean? To not be scared of the moment, to just be playing free. Coach Willie Green's got them playing exceptional without Zion. Everybody plays their roles. And, they don't look like they're intimidated by the moment. McCullough's a great a guard also who's played in 57 playoff games as well to kind of steal those guys. He makes big shots in big moments to kind of settle them down. So can't sleep on the Pelicans. I mean, the West is wide open. Golden State has a good record, but they haven't been winning lately. Steph Curry's been hurt, so we don't know what that's going to look like. I'm never sold on Denver. To me, they always soft as Dr. Cotton to me. I'm never, ever sold on Denver. Even when they're the favorite or the MVP, whatever. For some reason, they always come out a little short in the end. So they got to prove it to me.
What about Dallas Mavericks, Dave?
That guy, Luka, I mean, he's another guy that could beat anybody at any time. Like, if it was a one-game scenario, I'd be afraid of them. But that's another group that folds like a cheap suit. When it gets down, they had the Clippers down with Kawhi. They had them down 3-1, and they end up losing. So we'll see if Jason Kidd brings some toughness that maybe an experience that Rick Carlisle didn't have. I mean, after all, he won Rick Carlisle the ring when he was a player for Dallas Mavericks. So let's see if Jason Kidd can bring that extra dimension to them. But the West is wide open. I don't know. I mean, you got
another problem.
What's that?
There's another problem in Dallas because Luka is hurt.
Luka's hurt.
He has a sprained ankle, so we don't know if he's going to have limited minutes in this playoffs or what.
He don't need his ankle to play the type of game he don't need an ankle out there the way he plays out there.
He's always had ankle issues.
Yeah, his issue is that he got to stop coming at 275 pounds. He doesn't have the build to come in at 280. He came in training camp, and you're using the season, and it's not like you're a complimentary player. The whole offense runs through you. So you got to come in because everybody's offense depends on you. So you got, except for Brunson, but you have to come in shape. You're too young to come in at 280 for training camp, and you're 6'7.5". It's not like you got broad shoulders where you can carry it either.
That's kind of like close to Zion Williams numbers, huh?
Yes.
How much is
So
Zion?
my question for Dave is
how much does he weigh now?
What's going on?
Wait, what's that?
My question for you is he on that 8-ball barbecue out there in Dallas? What's going on, man? How did he go up?
I don't. He's eating good. Is all I can say. Him and Zion and Ryan's and Quincy's together, both of them pass the plate back and forth.
And Golden Corral, Ryan's and
Quincy's Golden Corral. That's right. And Lil Dizzy's breakfast lunch buffet too. Also, but
shout out to Lil Dizzy. Shout out to
Lil Dizzy.
Don't clown on my Lil Dizzy.
No, man, but West is wide open. I mean, you kind of got to go with Phoenix, in my opinion, because they have the defense. And then Milwaukee, they've been to the mountaintop as that entire team. They've been to Milwaukee. I mean, they've been to the finals already as a team. They're not thrown together like James Harden and Embiid, where they don't know what to expect from each other. That core group of Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Giannis has been there. And Giannis is the matchup nightmare. He's the cheat code. You can't stop that guy from getting to the rim. A big is too slow to guard him. A small is quick enough, but not big enough. So I favor Milwaukee coming out the East, and it's wide open in the West.
Is this a failed experiment if Harden doesn't win or if Brooklyn doesn't win? Are these failed experiments?
I don't see it as a failed experiment. I think the experiment is the hypothesis is correct that you can't win with James Harden. I don't think it's failed. I think it's gone through the cycle, and the conclusion is that you can't win with this guy. So, we'll see. He's had, as you said, he's had every scenario he wanted. I want the ball in Houston with nobody else. I need help. Give me Chris Paul. I don't like Chris Paul. Give me Russell Westbrook. I got Westbrook. I don't want him neither. Send me to Brooklyn. I can't stand them. What's your excuse now? Who you want to play with, Godfrey and them next? Come on, man. Come on, man.
He might win with Godfrey.
He might win with Godfrey, exactly. Because Godfrey going to foul everybody.
And he going to give the ball up.
Now, what you say about that?
I mean, it's just a tough league now because you're looking at the way they're compiling teams and putting groups of players together. That it's unfortunate that Kyrie was not with them the whole time to help develop their chemistry. And I think they probably had something there had Kyrie not been on this no vaccine tip. And they could have developed that chemistry. But in light of Philly moving to get James Harden, it seems like it's been a much better move for Harden to be outside of, that Nets area and that Nets playing style. And I'm going to tell you, Bruce Brown, that kid has stepped up. He's playing as a guard. He's playing some great minutes for them. They also have the other center.
Seth Curry.
Seth
Curry.
Well, Seth is hurt. I saw him on the sidelines, so he didn't play any minutes the game I saw him. But I think the guy's name is Knox. No, I can't think of his name, but he played some great quality minutes at center for them as well.
Yeah.
So, Philly's thing is going to have to be who else is going to show up. Mm-hmm. Right now in NBA, you can't have two men only. You got to have a bunch of role players, people who know their job, and then that's going to step up. We haven't heard from the other forward that they're known to feature in Philly.
Tobias Harris?
Yes, Tobias Harris. I mean, they need him to step up in order for them to win and rebound and get some offensive putbacks and bring that energy to the game, because without those role players, you're not going too far in the playoffs. Well,
you remember that Doc Rivers got a knock against him for not being ready for the big plays, so they got a lot of weapons on that 76ers team, but maybe Doc Rivers might be the key for some of these close, crucial games,
I don't know if you want him to be the key. He's got the most Game 7 losses in NBA history. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's the guy that's going to make the key plays at the key time. He hasn't proven. I like Doc Rivers, but he hasn't proven that he can make those.
I mean that he might be the key to them losing.
Oh, gosh. Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah. To the bad car, not to the good car. You know how sometimes you have a good car and a bad car in your driveway, and you grab the wrong keys?
Yes.
Yeah. You stuck with the bad car sometimes,
Okay. Well, let's move on to so we're going to a sport that's about to reach its finale. Let's start in a sport that's getting ready to start up in the fall. NFC South picture. Brady said he's coming back. Atlanta has a new quarterback. I think Carolina's trying to part ways with Christian McCaffrey. And the Saints have re-signed Jameis Winston to 2 years. What is y'all prediction for NFC South? What does that look like? Don, go ahead.
I mean, I would think that Tom Brady and them in Tampa would still be a perennial favorite because of what they brought together. They fell short last season, but to lead the South right now, I love the Saints. But I gotta say, Tom Brady and them are number one right now. They're the team to beat in the South. And the Saints have to get back to old form. They need some help at O-line now that they lost Teron Armstead. They need a wide receiver to complement Michael Thomas. We're really not sure that he's 100%. after injury. We did re-sign Traquan Smith. That's a big help. Alvin Kamara is still healthy. So we have some pieces. I like the coaching style of Dennis Allen.
Mhm.
He seems like he's not willing to take the big risks like Sean Payton was later on in Sean Payton's career, which is a plus for the Saints because, you know, if you play complimentary enough football, you win the game outright without trying X, Y, Z flat to the backyard throw in the back of the park over the shoulder with your head tied hand, left hand tied behind your back. So
Put the light on.
Carolina and Atlanta seem to be making the run at this new quarterback draft with Malik Willis. I was looking at him today and some of his highlights. Kid has great poise, a huge arm, and great mobility. So will Atlanta get him or will Carolina get him? That'll be the question because they're under pressure now to try to compete with the Saints in Tampa Bay. Brady, being in the NFC South, has kind of changed the whole paradigm on how we have to play in the NFC.
Erroneous?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Tampa Bay, they lose Bruce Arians as the coach, even though he's moved up in the front office, and got Todd Boyles, who is their defensive coordinator as the head coach. He's had great success in the league, and I think he wasn't given a proper chance as a head coach. So I think he's looking to prove himself that way. And think about how Tampa Bay lost. They lost because of a defensive plays of Los Angeles. And so just being able to reclaim that squad as a defensive team, which historically Tampa Bay has been. Remember, when Tony Dungy had them, they were a defensive nightmare. And when, what's his name, Gruden inherited that defense, they won. But as he stayed there with all his offensive genius-minded stuff, the defense started to fall apart. Right, these genius coaches. The Atlanta Falcons are an enigma to me because you get this coach who was an offensive coordinator at Tennessee, and then you're going to pair him back up with Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. You let Matt Ryan go, which I think it was time. Well, you should have done it last year if he was going to rebuild. And so now you're going to try to run your Tennessee offense through Atlanta that does not have the makeup for that, right? You let some of your people go. And this coach doesn't make a lot of great heady plays to me. So it's really predictable. He's going to try to smash and run. If you get the offensive line to do that, it may work, but I don't see it happen. New Orleans, they signed what's the Red Raider? What's his name? Used to play for Cincinnati and went to who's the backup quarterback they signed?
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, yeah. What that say to me is that Taysom Hill had his chance to be a quarterback. And that's it for you, Chief. You're going back to the road that you should be playing. So the Saints could be kind of tricky. I like the Saints playing as underdogs. I don't like them playing as the favorite all the time. So they possibly could sneak in there. Carolina, they don't even have a quarterback that they want to feature at all. They made a trade, didn't they? For somebody, I can't remember. But I thought Christian McCaffrey was going to be their heart and soul of their offense, the face of their franchise. Without that face, we'll see what's going to happen.
I mean, I'm not intimidated by Tampa Bay. Saints beat them twice last year, even after they horse-collared Jameis Winston. We spanked them 2 times. So coming in that dome, Tampa Bay, I think, is the favorite in the NFC, but I think in the NFC South, I don't think the Saints are afraid of them. The move to get Taysom Hill away from quarterback and as tight end, I think it will pay big dividends. Our tight end position last year was trash, okay? So to put arguably the best athlete on the team at the tight end spot, to me, that's a win-win for the Saints. Get him off. Let your main quarterback stay in a rhythm. Get out of that wildcat, okay? Jameis was playing really, really well with his completions and touchdown to interception ratio. Let the man keep a rhythm. And he could throw the deep ball just as good as anybody in the NFL, okay? And put Taysom Hill out there to be a matchup nightmare. A corner doesn't want a piece of him. A safety's too slow for him. A linebacker's too slow for him. So let him get out there and run and use his athletic ability instead of forcing him into this quarterback wedge we're trying to force a guy into. I'm all for Taysom Hill, but we got to play him right. Atlanta, I don't think they have an identity now without Matt Ryan. I think they have one of the wide receivers is Sanu is out for in prison or something. Huh?
Sanu been gone. You thinking about Calvin Ridley is
Ridley? Yeah, he got caught up in some scam or something like that. So
yeah, gambling, betting on his own team.
Yeah, so he's out. So
yeah,
nobody's afraid of Atlanta at this point. And to me, Carolina doesn't have an identity if they're moving on from Caffrey and they don't have a quarterback. So I see it as the Saints in Tampa as a race. You can never count out Tom Brady, but you don't have Antonio Brown now to extend the defense. So the field's going to get a lot tighter on you now. Okay? So I think it's tough. I think the Saints will be right there, but Tampa Bay is the favorite.
Well, if you think about the total NFC picture, do you feel like Rams going to dominate again? I mean, you still have San Fran, you still have the Rams out there on the, I guess that would be the West, NFC West, right? The NFC West. So, and then Cardinals, they're trying to make a push at it. So, I mean, coming out there West, what do y'all think?
Green Bay signed Sammy Watkins after they let Devontae Adams go. I think that was a pretty decent pickup for them. And with Aaron Rodgers having another season without the contract controversy that he had last year, could bode well for them. I like the Rams. They haven't fundamentally changed anything, which could be good. And but they were like a couple of plays away from losing to a couple of teams, man. Tampa Bay being one of them. So it'll be interesting to see it's hard to repeat again when people have you locked and loaded. And that West is difficult. San Francisco, Cardinals, and Seattle. We don't know what Seattle's going to do as far as quarterback. But historically, that's a tough division to be in.
Yeah, they all went above 500 except for the Seattle team, 7-10. San Fran was 10-7. Arizona finished 11-6, and the Rams, of course, Super Bowl winners, finished 12-5.
I think the Rams got hot at the right time. That midseason trade to get Odell Beckham paid big dividends for them at the right time. He's still hurt. If I'm not mistaken, he's got a torn MCL, ACL. So you're just riding Stafford and Cooper Kupp for the most part. I mean, and they ran into Cincinnati, who was hot, but wasn't necessarily, a world beater. Cincinnati just got hot. Burrow got hot at the right time. We've seen that at LSU.
And he also got hurt in that game at the right time when he was going down the field, marching down the field. That was they were probably going to score on that drive. Yeah, they'll get everything. Yeah.
Aaron Donald is the monster that makes that thing tick over there. So
you can't take away from Matthew Stafford too.
Stafford was great.
By the way, yeah,
Stafford was great. Cooper Kupp is phenomenal too. But I don't think anybody's afraid of them. I think Green Bay also is kind of falling into the New Orleans Saints trap where you extended Aaron Rodgers a little too long. 4 years, $200 million. You got $200 million tied up in a guy who's going to be 40 some more years old here in the next year or so, and you let go of the wide receiver because you can't pay both of those guys. That's kind of like the same role where you just wanted to keep that figurehead and that chance for the Super Bowl. If he gets hot, if this happens, I don't like ifs. I like to have a good O-line. I like to have talent, and we can do this as a team, not just hinge everything on one guy. So
it's always a handcuff, Dave, when you have a great quarterback like that. And you drafted Jordan, I can't think of his last name, Jordan dude, whatever. Jordan Love. And he's not what they thought he's going to pay out to be. Already that was a disrespect move for Aaron Rodgers, right? But if you remember, Brett Favre felt the same way when Aaron Rodgers was drafted.
That was going to be my point.
Right. And at some point, you have to move on. I think if Jordan Love would have looked like something, they could have moved on from Aaron Rodgers and traded and made something. But Jordan Love looked so iffy that they had to roll the dice on Aaron Rodgers. Because what you going to let Aaron Rodgers go to San Francisco? Are you going to let him go to Seattle? You can't do that. You can't let him go. You got to keep him. It's the Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was making so much money, but what you going to let Kobe Bryant go somewhere? You can't do that.
Big mistake.
I mean, they want Aaron, just as you said, they should have, to me, they should have learned this lesson with Brett Favre. Brett Favre won your Super Bowl just like Aaron Rodgers won your Super Bowl. They didn't win no more, no less than each other. Okay?
Right.
But you were able to part ways with Favre and usher this guy in for less money and keep that continuity there and got you extended your playoff window, your Super Bowl window. They should have learned it. They should have learned a lesson. I don't see Green Bay doing anything.
No, it's the luck of the draw because you think about it, same thing with Joe Montana, Steve Young. Yep. Same thing with Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. Drew Bledsoe was playing with that team. Same thing with what's the San Francisco when Colin Kaepernick got in there.
Yeah.
Alex Smith was playing really good. Hurt himself one thing and he never got back in again. Yep. Drew Bledsoe was playing good. Tom Brady came in, never got back in again. So, you can't get Jordan Love and expect for him to put that kind of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. This is not going to happen. And as we saw with Drew Brees, he was in there way too long. But had they had a quarterback that could put some pressure on Drew Brees, we'd probably have to make the same decision that they did,
Right. Okay, guys. Well, let's move on. I saw an interview today with Erroll Spence. You guys met him in Vegas. I had retreated to my room by that time, but y'all
we saw
shooting pool and ran into Errol Spence out there last time we were there. But he's fighting Ugas, who beat Manny Pacquiao the last fight, setting up a super fight between Terrance Crawford, which we saw him in action against Sean Porter in a lovely matchup. The Don almost got into it with a little guy on the sideline, on the sideline during the fight. But they're setting that fight up with Ugas. Who's your pick on Spence Ugas, and do you think the super fight is next?
I don't know, man. I mean, he picked this fight for a reason, and everybody knows that that's the weakest link in the division. Everybody was going to go through Manny Pacquiao to get a belt anyway. Right. Everybody wanted Manny Pacquiao. So the fact that Ugas beat him wasn't a surprise. It was a surprise because nobody knew about Ugas. But if anybody was going to go through getting the belt, Keith Thurman or any one of those guys, it was going to go through Pacquiao anyway. We know the heavy hitters in the division is Spence and Terrance Crawford. Yeah. And to unify, somebody has to go after that belt. I'm sad that Crawford didn't get the chance. Now that he's got new management and maybe he'll be able to fight Spence, but PBC has already been getting Terrance Crawford out of the loop because he was Bob Arum. And Bob Arum blamed Terrance Crawford for not selling the fights. That's not Terrance Crawford's job. Right. So maybe, and Terrance Crawford's like, if he doesn't get the super fight, he's getting older. He said he's going to move up. I would hate for him to move up into the other division because that's what Charlo, one of the Charlo brothers.
Yes.
It's not about, and Teofimo Lopez has moved up too, right? Didn't he move up somewhere?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a bigger division. And I would hate to see Terrance Crawford to be in that kind of situation. But I think the super fights should happen. I just don't know what Spence is going to do if he wins. Will he want to have the bravado to say, I want the whole shebang bang? Because he did look like he was running kind of scared when Crawford won. He left out of that quickly, So.
Don?
Well, the crowd was heckling him.
Yes.
They were booing him. So that's he couldn't believe that he didn't find any love in that arena. So I think that was one of the reasons why he was trying to get out of there, out of Las Vegas as fast as possible. I see this as just a setup fight, tune-up fight for Errol Spence versus Ugas. Our boy, Terrance Crawford has already said he wants to win up this fight. So if they're smart, they get this fight now while both boxers are young and they have so much to offer the sport. Go ahead and take this fight. Let the fans see what they want to see. Who's the best out of Crawford and Spence Jr. My personal pick after seeing both of them in action is Crawford. I really believe he has the tools to beat Spence. Is going to make for a heck of a challenge because they both have unique styles, and you can't sleep on any one of these cats or what they bring into the table. But I think tonight this Ugas fight is a tune-up for Spence. I think Spence is going to get him. He's going to break him down because he is a tactician and wait for Ugas to make mistakes. I don't see him trying to come out being flashy. I see him coming out to be a tactician and to kind of prove to the boxing world why his name is up there on the top.
I think Ugas is a tailor-made fighter for Errol Spence. High guard, walk forward, not too much lateral movement, want to try to bang with you. And it's just the type of person, the sharpshooter like Spence wants to fight. A guy you don't have to chase down. The guy's going to come forward, and you can just hit him with the jab all night and set him up, put him in bad positions and set him up until it's a TKO, which I'm predicting a TKO on this fight for Spence. And Spence has got to look good because Porter and Crawford fought well. I mean, nobody wants to fight Sean Porter, okay? And it was a tough match till around the end until Crawford figured him out, okay? And he closed him in spectacular fashion right there at the end. So I think there's a little pressure on Spence, not just to win, but to win well, okay, do it in a good fashion to kind of pump this fight up. So I'm definitely picking Spence. I really don't know what's going to happen if Crawford fights Spence. I mean, they have similar body type. I mean, you give the mean edge to Crawford. He's a mean little fella. You know what I mean? But like the tactician, and you can't sleep on his skills, technique, and ability either. Spence is the guy who gave Mayweather a black eye in sparring. So if you can get to Mayweather's eye, that's telling me something too. So I think it's going to come down to the decision. I think Spence's speed is going to bother and length will bother Crawford because it's a guy with similar size and length as him, but I think a little more speed than Crawford. But I think Crawford's power is going to bother Spence. So I don't even know who to pick on that. And I think they have nobody else to fight but each other. And it's all, as Tyrone says, it's going to come down to promotion because this is the fight that hardcore boxing fans want to see. But outside of hardcore boxing, people don't know Terrance Crawford. And to your point, Don, I'm gonna let you finish like Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish. But to Don, to your point, Spence got out of there because he was getting booed and he expected to be the A side, where he was the known guy. He didn't know all the people that we would sit with flew in from Nebraska to watch Terrance Crawford. And I guess he thought he was gonna get the star treatment where everybody's gonna cheer. And when they start booing, he walked out. So he is the A side of the fight, but the hardcore boxing people know this is a 50-50 fight.
My problem with this whole thing is I just hope that they make the fight happen because Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder would have been one of the biggest fights. They're both their records tarnished now.
Yep.
Same thing, Mikey Garcia was supposed to fight Lomachenko. They never made that fight happen. Now Mikey Garcia go up. This is what I fear about Terrance Crawford. Go up, have a blemish on your record, and you want to come back. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, they fought when he was like 65 years old. You know, you don't fight in the time period you're supposed to fight. Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao fighting when they old. I mean, but you say this is the fight people want to see. Give it to us. You know? So
Motives and scared over chips.
Right. So go 50-50 and make it happen. Both of y'all need each other. Spence needs Crawford to be considered the best, and Crawford needs to be on that PBC side fighting people because they claim that they have the best fighters. You know, so I don't want to see another one of these situations. Look at the same thing with what's the Cuban boxer heavyweight that only lost 2 times? Ortiz. He's fighting Ruiz now. That's going to be a good fight. But man, we already know Ortiz is taking high blood pressure medicine. How much time he got left? You know what I'm saying? Let's fight some of these guys, man. I want to see the real fights instead of seeing what's them brothers that come out and beat people. These little side.
Logan.
No, Logan Pauls.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm so tired of seeing them.
No,
I see the real fight.
This guy, what's your boy's name out there in Britain who's managing Eddie Hearn? This guy has destroyed Anthony Joshua's career. Absolutely destroyed. You had a $200 million fight on a table with Deontay Wilder. And you postponed, delayed, don't sign a contract, want to try to milk the guy, and you beat this guy out of $200 million was that fight. Now, Fury is a guy, you can never know what's going to happen with Fury. He might come in at 500 pounds. Or might not show up. Or might show up high or drunk at the fight and could still beat everybody high or drunk.
He got Dillian White. He got Dillian White coming up. I think he's going to beat Dillian White. I don't have a question about that.
He is, but the heavyweight champ is fighting in Ukraine right now to do with all the belts. Fury got one. Usyk is in Ukraine right now fighting.
He just left. He just left Ukraine.
Man. So you've destroyed a career. To Tyrone's point, let that boy drive. Let the fight happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think Crawford is threatening to go up to scare Bob Arum away from the payday. Say, I'll go up and fight somebody else for like Canelo for a bigger payday. All right, if he leaves. So I think it's a threat. I don't think he really wants to go up. If you look at Crawford, I don't think he has the frame to go up. Because his shoulders are narrow to me. I don't think he has a frame to put on weight and fight against Charlo and Canelos and those guys up there.
But who do you fight, Dave? Who do you fight if there's nobody want to fight you? Roy Jones. Roy Jones was the same way. Nobody was fighting him in the middleweight division, so he had to go up. It's sad.
I think Spence. I think they got to get the money right because again, I think Spence feels like he's the A and he's going to want more money, and I think that's the threat to get them to go 50-50 on this fight. I think it's all histrionics. I think it's all theater is what I think it is because you can be a champ of the universe at 145, okay? Or you could be a one-time champ and start getting beat up and bust around the ring at 150, 156. I really don't think you want to do that. So, and if you do, you want to do it later in your career when your weight really settles on you, not, at 28, 29.
What do you think about Devin Haney fighting George Kambosos or whatever his name is?
I think Haney's gonna walk the dog on him. I think Kambosos came in and Teofimo didn't take him seriously. He's not known for training really well, and I think he just got him at the right time. But I think Haney's a machine, man. Haney's a gym rat who loves to train. He's always in it. He doesn't like anything. You never see him releasing an album. You don't see him on Instagram or something like that, like Adrian Broner was. The dude loves boxing. It's hard to beat a guy who trains like a poor man.
And Floyd Mayweather Sr. is still his trainer, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Another guy been to the mountaintop,
Dave, we saw that fight with Golovkin and Mayoda, whatever his name is.
Right.
What'd you think about that fight? What'd you think they're saying about Triple G?
40 years old, middleweight. We haven't really seen a good middleweight at 40 years old. Still hanging around. That's a crazy mix of speed and power, and you're fighting at that 168 area. He got exposed to me. I mean, the body shots was killing Golovkin.
Oh yeah, the body shots were killing.
He was wincing in pain. Like when Canelo hit him, when we watched the Canelo fight, and Canelo hit him straight on the face, and he looked like the Terminator, where his face didn't even change expressions. We're like, this guy, Canelo got scared. But when you hit him in the body, that's he winced. He didn't want no parts of the body. So to me, he got exposed. His footwork didn't look great. He still brought that power with him, but he beat the guy. But the aura of invincibility of Triple G is gone now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think guys are ready to take it to him. And you don't want them Charlos. He wants Canelo for another payday. Who wouldn't? I'll fight Canelo for a payday. You can embarrass me, and Chris Rock got embarrassed in that other day. But you pay me $25 million. You can embarrass me. I've been embarrassed for free.
Sorry, though, brother, you're just not a big name enough to be embarrassed and people to pay for it to watch it. You understand?
He can talk it up though.
Oh, I'll promote the fight. I'll promote the fight. I really will.
But will that lead to backyard promotions or will that lead to big ring promotions?
No, they can promote me to stuff.
We'd like to see you first try Friday Night Fights. Let's get you on that undercard over there first before we get you to the big.
You don't want a $30 payday, Don. He wants $30 million.
You, man.
But Dave, we saw you in Las Vegas next to David Haye. You was bigger than him. So you can't be fighting them little dudes. You got to fight Dillian White and Ortiz and the Juggernaut. You can't be.
You got to fight the big boy. That's what I'm talking about.
You can't fight them little dudes, bro. You were towering. We were trying to get that picture. We were trying to get that picture with you and David Haye. You were towering over David Haye.
Was I that much bigger than him?
Yeah.
Wow.
You should have fought him right there.
Wow. No, I don't want no part of Ortiz, bro. I don't want nobody in that. I'll fight little Billy Joe Saunders. I'll slap them around, but I ain't fighting.
Weight class. Billy Joe Saunders is not your weight class, bro.
I'll get down.
You can't get down to 165.
No, I haven't been 165 since I was in 9th grade.
Bro, you can't resist them sliders enough to go down to 165, bro.
That's
Man,
why I
I'll
told
fight.
him. You got to
I'll
start
fight
with
Prince
the
Charles
lawyers.
Martin. I'll fight one of them little dudes. You know what I mean?
You got to start with the lawyers and the businessmen that
Oh,
run
yeah,
marathons,
Friday night
that
fights.
Friday night fights, bro.
Oh, I'll knock them out.
Well,
Mike
you gotta
Cotto,
get your shape
put me
down,
on
you gotta
the
get
card.
your
Friday night fights. Pick a little businessman in town that's my age and weight class. I guarantee I'll slap the taste out of their mouth on Friday night. Put me on there, and I'll do the halftime show. I'll rap the halftime show after.
You might
What
have
about
to
the
set
dude
this
who
up.
sang? What about the dude who sung the Star Spangled Banner? You get
Oh
in?
no. Oh no. I watched this dude sing the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, and give the dude stars on the next fight. No, no. No, I don't want him.
And he helped him up. Then he prayed over him too. He was a minister too.
No, no. No, I
He
want
prayed
to
over him afterwards.
No, no. I want to do similar like me, who does like professional work like PR. I don't want nobody that does this all the time.
He'll do Dave's obit too after you knock him out.
No, no, no. I want a dude that's like me that sit at a desk and work on computers. I could beat all the computer people. That's who I could beat.
We'll find somebody for you, Red.
Find somebody for me, bro. Find somebody. Oh, and I whips anybody in Atlanta. Let me look at the camera. Anybody you find in Atlanta, I whips all of them.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell Daniel that you say that's Solomon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, please get him. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Please get him out there. Oh, he know the deal. Well, gentlemen, it's good to be back. We got to keep it up a little more regular. People have been asking us. We have a guest on next week. Next time we shoot the show, we do have a lot of guests lined up. But we just wanted to say, hey, everybody, we're still here. Looking forward to the NBA Finals and everything else. Don't forget to get vaccinated. Tyrone, go ahead.
What you make a Don shirt right there, bro?
Let me see. I agree. He is the oldest.
He says I make the rules, though. That's what he says.
Yeah, and mine is I break the rules. That's what I said.
I don't even know what mine is anymore, bro.
That's why there's eternal conflict with the oldest and the youngest.
That is true.
You try to break the rules that I make. You understand?
Tyrone, we want to shout you out also. I know you working on a play right now, music for a play, and I think you just did a soundtrack. I don't know if you had liberty to say that. If not, edit it out. But
yeah, I can't say what the movie is, but when it comes out, we'll let you know. But I just finished up the music for a documentary, so I'll let everybody know about it so you can check it out. Yes.
And Donna, you accepted the award for Ben Franklin for Blue Ribbon School. If I'm not mistaken, that was last month or a month and a half ago as well. Correct?
A couple months ago, yes.
Very good. Very good.
And Dave, you had a Pabst Blue Ribbon last night, so yeah.
That's the closest I got to Blue Ribbon. that slip. Old Milwaukee.
Got that old Milwaukee.
And I spent a lot of money last month. That's all. That's all
Please don't talk about spending. Please don't talk about spending.
Dave,
came from New York.
I'm just happy that hopefully I left the dark cloud in New York that was following me up there. That's all I'm hopeful for.
Alicia Latchkey kid.
Hey, Don Dave is one of the property brothers. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Wow, don't put that out there. I'm not releasing that information till it's all done.
And Magua Incorporated too is another one of your businesses, bro.
No.
M.I. Magua.
M.I.
That's Wambacher.
Magua Impossible.
That's Wambacher with that.
Dude. Magua Impossible.
Oh no. No, it's impossible, bro. It's impossible. Can't deal with them. Well, gentlemen, thanks for logging in. We'll see y'all next week. And as remember always, shoot the J.
Later.